Okay, in this video, we are going to walk through Lab 4 using GDB. Okay, so make sure you watch the videos in Module 10, Linux tutorials, where we talk about GDB. Also, complete Chapter 5 in this manual. Chapter 5 shows you how to use GDB and how to step through code and how to set breakpoints and things like that. And you should watch these two links here, and that will help you. Okay, so now let's walk through our lab. Watching this video will help as well. So log in to your server, make sure you're in the home directory. So here we are, pwd says I am in the home directory. And then I'm here in step 7. Let's type in script lab4.txt. Okay, now my script has started. I'm in step 8. We are going to do the same thing that we've done for all our labs, ls cd to cs161b. We are in step 10. Make a new directory for lab 4. Make dir lab 4, cd to lab 4, pwd to see where we are. We should be in lab 4. Now we're going to copy a file that we're going to troubleshoot. So we want to copy tilde gd.iyer / cs161b / samples / debug / nestedbug.cpp to current. So copy the file over, do ls, you will see there's one file with that name. Okay, now we are in step 13. We're going to edit the file and hit enter, type vi. The code has a nested loop and we're trying to print a tic-tac board that looks like this. This is what it should do. Okay, so let's take a look. vi nested tab will print it for me so I don't have to type it. And notice I have initialized a char two-dimensional array with some values, and we are trying to print it using a nested loop. Okay, all right, so if I compile and run the code, so we are on step 15, which says compile your code and run it. So g++ -wall -g nestedbug.cpp -o nestedbug, take away the cpp, don't put that in there, and you run it, and it's not quite doing what it should do. We get a segmentation fault and code dumped. So that's not what we wanted to do. So there's a bug, there's a problem. There's no compile errors, if you notice. I didn't get any compile errors when I compiled it, but I get a whole bunch of garbage along with the X and O's. So now we're going to try and use GDB. So we are on step 18. Open two shell or two PuTTY windows. And in one, we are going to open our code. So if you're on a Mac, you keep this window open, you go to shell and you open another window. And on a PuTTY, you can do the same thing. You can open two windows. So open two windows. On one, we can have the code, and that is really what's going to be recorded, which is fine. In the other window, we are going to open the code. So let's actually, on the left-hand side where we have the script running, we will do GDB. On the right-hand side, let me first log in. And we're going to change to cs161b / samples debug. And in here, we have our code. I'm going to open my code here. There's my code. On the left-hand side, if you go back to the document, it says type GDB in the other window. So we will type GDB in our window that's running the script. Okay, and there we go. We have the GDB prompt. So you should have a GDB prompt. Now we're going to set a breakpoint. So if you look here on the right-hand side, I want to set a breakpoint right on that line, which is line number 12. It says that at the bottom. So we're going to go here to the left-hand side and say b space 12. We'll set a breakpoint. It says line 12. Now we are go back to your document, type R to run your program. All of these little things are very important. So do every step very carefully. Type R to run your program. So on the GDB window, R will run the program and stop at that line 12. See that? Okay, then we are going to type N to execute the next line. Sorry, we are on step 22. N takes us through each line. N, hit enter. There is the next line, for int I equals 0. So something is happening there. We can do N again, takes us to the next line. We are in a nested loop. You can do P space I. What is I? I is 0. P space, type in rows. We can keep an eye on all our variables. Rows is 3. P space columns. Oops. Columns. No. Sorry. There's 3. Okay, next we are in the for loop, inner for loop. P space J shows me J is 0. Okay, it's going to print, so do next, N for next. And it should have printed the first one. So let's say next. So we are back, let's see, P space J, J is 1. Okay, and for next, okay, P space J, J is 2. So 2 is less than 3. We are going to have to go through one more time, and for next, okay, and for next, P space J, J is 3. So right now it should come out of that loop and it should go to my outer for loop. And for next, we're still in the inner for loop. Print J, J is 3. Let's do one more time. And for next, it's printing something again. P space J, J is 4. Why is J at 4? J should not be at 4. By now we should have come out of our loop if our condition was right. So there's something wrong with that for loop. So that's kind of how you step through your code and see where the problem is. I'm not going to show you where the problem is, but I'm going to let you figure out where the problem is because that's part of this lab. And anytime you know the problem is there, so you can look at it a little bit more carefully and fix the problem. And when you're done debugging, you can say Q to quit. It says exit anyway, yes, why? And now you know where the problem is. You can try and fix it. So try and see what the problem is with that loop. And when you're done fixing it, use this command to compile it. I have a bug in my document, it seems like. So compile your program, test it, see if you were able to fix the bug, see if your output looks like this. It should. No other garbage stuff. So when you're done fixing it, type exit. Now your script is saved. Use FileZilla, transfer it, and upload it with the fixed file. So make sure you also here submit this nestedbug.cpp that is fixed along with the lab4 text file to your final project.